For exercise 623, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab the acad3d.dwt to start my file. Now I want to do this from the front view, so I'm going to change the UCS to front. And once I change my UCS, I'm going to go ahead and start my line, my initial line, and come up 1.75. And then I'm going to zoom in so that I can see what's going on my screen. And I know that line's a little bit hard to see right now, but we'll get there. The next line that I want to draw is my diameter line for the bottom. The diameter is 5 for this object, so I want to go 2.5. And then from there, I'm going to come up 0.38. The diameter across the top is going to be 1.5, so I need to come over 0.75. And then down, the difference between 1.75 minus 1.38, which is 0.37. So we'll come down 0.37 and then go to my endpoint over here. Now, because this thing has a hole that goes all the way through it that has a 1-inch diameter, I'm going to offset 0.5 this object right here. And then I can go through and trim out this segment and this segment, turn the entire object into a region, and then I'm going to revolve that region around my center point, 360 degrees. And then again, I'm going to go ahead and delete my center point. Now, without orbiting this thing around, I want to locate the rest of my stuff. So I'm going to go back to a UCS top. And this is going to be very, very important to make sure that everything is correct. I'm going to draw my circle that has a diameter of 5. So what I'm essentially doing is I'm recreating my object from the top perspective as opposed to the bottom perspective like I did before. So I've got another quadrant that I'm going to put in over here. I've got another circle that represents my bolt hole circle and has a diameter of 4. And then on this corner I've got a hole that goes all the way through that is 0.5. And then this is going to be 0.5, this is going to be 0.5, and this is going to be 0.5. Now, I could have used the array command for that. It really doesn't matter how you choose to do this. But with those 4 circles, we're going to be able to do a lot. And I'll get there in a second. But this is what I'm going to be using as a template to do everything that I need to do. So every operation that I'm getting ready to do, this is going to serve as my template. So in addition to those holes, I'm just going to come up to my top hole here and I'm going to do another circle that has a diameter of 0.88 or a radius of 0.44. And then I'm going to draw from the quadrant straight down to here, and then again from the quadrant straight out to here. Now I can go through and I can trim some of this stuff out. Now, the trim command doesn't really like to work isometrically a lot of times, so in some cases you may just need to use the break command and then select here and then this quadrant point, and then you can go back and break the other side. So I'll break this, and I want my first point to be that intersection and my second point be the end point. Either way, it gets rid of my object, and then I can go through and trim out, and see it wants to trim the whole thing again. So I'll go to break, and I just want to break it up to that edge. And it's not liking leaving any of this piece in. So the other option is to just do an arc that's 3-point arc. Makes life pretty easy to go through. If I move my origin to over here, it makes it a whole lot easier. So if I click on here and then just grab this and bring it over, now my UCS is right on the plane that I'm working on. In a lot of cases, that makes some of the commands act a little bit better. But whenever you're dealing with the circles and stuff, it can get kind of tricky. At this point, I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to erase these. I want to leave everything else behind, though, because I'm going to be using this, and I'm going to be using this here in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do is press pull one of my holes up. Now, it doesn't matter how far up I go. I'm just going to go 3. And then I'll press pull this one up 3. I'll press pull this one up 3. And I'll press pull this one up 3. Now I'm going to move those 4 holes from that center to that center. Use the subtract command and select this, and then hit enter and select my 4 holes to remove. So there's my 4 holes that need to be removed from the object. So the next thing I want to do is I want to press pull this shape. And again, it doesn't matter how far up I press pull this, I can go 3 again. Well, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this one from this center point to my upper center point, and then I'm going to use the array command to do a polar array. The center point of my array is going to be right here, and instead of 6 items, I only want 4. So I can now close my array and then use the subtract command again. I want to subtract from this these 4 items. And again, here we have a little bit of a problem. Let me go ahead and explode the array pattern. That way I have solids to work with. So subtract from here each of these 4. And now what I'm left with after I clear my 2D geometry is my exercise 623 with all the holes. So in a lot of cases with 3D modeling, we've got to use the 2D geometry to get the 3D geometry figured out.